gentlemen, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. It is episode 633. That's right, it's 633, and that is October, and you know what October is. I call it Halloween. It's Halloween month. Or some people say it's Halloween. I don't know the proper term, I like mine. It's October Halloween themed. That means every single episode that we do on the Keith Andrew Network in the month of October, it's a Halloween theme. You get to dress up, get to dress whatever you want. Dress up, dress down. I really don't care. It's as long as you're comfortable, it's whatever you want to do. But it does not take away from the point of the show. The whole point of the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You to prove to them you can still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 33 minutes every time. Say anything you want. Talk about anything you want. It's PG-13, but I'm giving you the freedom to say and do whatever you want.
I won't swear, I promise.
Well, that sucks.
Well, you want me to. I can just drop the F-bomb everywhere.
Well, I mean, you can keep it PG-13, but I mean, don't go crazy with it.
I use the SpongeBob swear words, like the dolphin and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
like toothpaste.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Actually, that's pretty funny, actually.
I mean, I can't make that noise, but you know what I'm talking about.
That's true. Now, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what can you tell us about yourself and how's life growing up?
Yeah, definitely. So, I am an actress based in Virginia. My name is Samantha Weller. And I would say growing up, you know, I was born and raised in Virginia. Lived there almost my entire life. And I was always kind of just hopping around, never really knowing what I wanted to do when I grew up. You know, I did some writing in college and high school, but I never realized that I wanted to do acting until after college. And I can say that I have lived, I have been very fortunate to live in a lot of places in my life. I lived in London, England for 2 years from like 2012 to 2014. And then I lived in Fort Lauderdale a couple years ago. So I've primarily lived in Virginia my entire life, but I have also lived in other places like England and Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Yeah, that's really cool. The one thing I do want to ask you before we do continue, is there a way you can prop up your camera so it doesn't shake a lot?
Yeah, I actually have like a stand that I think I can use. Yeah, I can use it.
And like I said, anything can happen live.
Yeah, right?
So the next question I was going to ask you is, what made you move to the D.C. area?
Oh, my parents actually live here right now, and I've just started acting here, and I started building a lot of, you know, connections and everything, so I'm just kind of here right now in Virginia because it's a pretty nice area. I mean, it's a little pricey, but for the most part, I think it's a great area, great location, and everything like that, so... Yeah,
absolutely. And it's pretty much, you know, a lot of famous people came from the D.C. area, from the Virginia area.
That is very true. Sorry, I'm just like adjusting my camera a little bit. But yeah, that is very true that a lot of people, it's actually a very good film market. I mean, they just filmed Wonder Woman here. They filmed House of Cards here. They filmed like all kinds of film productions that have happened around D.C. And it's a great area to like, you know, network with people. We're right around Maryland. You know, we have Richmond, North Carolina. We're around a lot of different things, and only a couple of hours away from New York City. So.
No, absolutely. And like I said, if you're ever in the area, we should definitely hang out at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I do travel up to New York City every now and then, mostly for modeling, but I would love to get an acting gig up in New York one time. So.
No, I do have a couple of easy questions before we get started. When you were in high school and college, especially college, but let me rephrase that. When you were in, actually, I haven't done my interviews as of late, so my disability is showing more.
That's okay.
When you were in college, were you a study nerd or party animal? And what sports did you ever do in high school and college?
That's a really interesting question. So in high school, I was more of a partier. Like I just had no idea what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't say I was necessarily partying, but I was actually doing a lot of sports then. I did like yoga. I was on a dance team. I did some cheerleading. I did all kinds of stuff like that. But I wasn't very serious about school because at that point I had no idea what I wanted to do. I hadn't really found anything that I was passionate about at that time. And then when I got to college, I would say I was kind of an interesting combination of a studier and a partier because I would say I'm like, what do you call it, like an introverted extrovert. So like I would go to parties, but then after only like an hour, I'm like, I kind of want to go back home. I feel like I should study. And I did party, but I also went really hard on like on like my studies. And, I was always taking so many classes in college. I took like organic chemistry. I took all kinds of science classes and just every kind of class because I was trying to figure out what to do. And the funny thing is in college, I took every kind of like class that ever except for the one thing that I should have majored in, which was theater. So yeah, I mean, if I could go back, I majored in English. So I'm very glad that I did. But if I could go back, I kind of wish sometimes that I minored in theater or something. So.
Well, you're in the right area. You mentioned you were in a bunch of films, number one.
Yeah.
And now you're in one of the capitals of the world where people do go to acting. People say go to L.A., go to New York.
Yeah,
but Washington
exactly.
has... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, so, yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like, LA is like, for some people, LA is the place to be, but honestly, the East Coast, there's a lot of things going on over here, like tons of TV shows and movies, and some people don't understand how much is going on, even, Virginia. So, yeah, that's very true.
Now, the question I was going to ask you next is, it's funny because you now are an actress, but you never took theater classes. But what made the transition? I wish I know what I know now back like a year or so ago, so I wouldn't have made stupid choices. But what influenced you to get into the whole acting? Was there like a famous person you saw, or was there a famous story? What made that transition said, you know what, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Well, I love that question. I honestly did do a little bit of theater in middle school and high school. I never was able to get into it, super professionally, but, because I was just doing other things. But I was in some plays in middle school. I was in a Peter Pan play. That was my very first thing ever, actually. And I was a lost boy, but I just loved, like, being in a giant group of people that are working together and collaborating to make a giant production happen, entertain people. I thought it was so much fun to get into character and dress up and express yourself in all kinds of different ways. I thought that was just so exciting to me. And then in high school, I also did a few like Shakespeare plays. And I just think acting is such a great way to be able to express yourself, and you learn so many different things about yourself as an actor. But when I was growing up, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard this, is people are like, oh, that's not a realistic career. I thought you had to be like in Hollywood or LA to even start in that kind of field. And so after college, as I said before, I majored in English, and I was a writer for around a few years or something, and I liked it, but I just felt like there was a hole in my life. And then meanwhile, I kept on seeing all these movies and stuff like La La Land and whatnot, and it's like life was trying to tell me to get into acting, and I was trying to find something outside of my writing job to do, and I actually thought, like, maybe I should get back into theater because I loved doing that in middle school and high school. I love entertaining people. I'm very confident in front of the camera, I would say. And, I loved acting when I did it. So I was auditioning for theater, and I didn't get anything. I felt like I was nailing these auditions. I didn't get anything. So I kept on looking for casting calls. And then I saw this casting call from my area for a TV show on Investigation Discovery, and I applied for it. And I nailed the audition, and that was, like, my first acting thing. But, like, I just really felt like everything was pulling me towards that, and I just felt like I wanted to get back into it and try to do that professionally. I would say it was a combination of things, but I am also very inspired by a lot of I love movies. I'm very inspired by Audrey Hepburn, and she's like one of my favorite actresses of all time is Audrey Hepburn. So I'd say it's a combination of things, but I definitely felt like there was just something missing in my life, and acting has filled that hole. So.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, what are some of your favorite films that you ever done?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I've done right now is still in production. I would say my favorite thing so far is a movie called Psychopomp, and it's coming out next year. And I'm just saying it's my favorite because it's my favorite character that I've played so far. The production's going to be amazing, and actually the first official trailer is out right now on YouTube. If you type in Psychopomp official trailer, spelled Psychopomp. It is on YouTube and it just came out like the other day. I think it's going to be such a cool movie, but I would say so far that out of everything that I've been in that has come out, I was in a short film directed by a local filmmaker called Antonio Jordan of Anti-Coastal, and it's called Equanimity, and it was a really cool production because it's a short film, but it's basically like I play this woman that gets stood up and she has to walk all the way back to a parking garage. And there's no, like, I don't have any lines, but it was all about showing emotion and expression through my face. And I just thought it was such an interesting production. And it's just, and, every single woman can relate to it. It's very relatable. That's the other thing I like about it. And I was also I had a very small, like, day player role in a feature movie called London and James. It's a crime kind of drama film. And I was a forensic scientist, and it's a very small role, but I also love that one because the movie is just amazing. I think they did a great job with everything, and it's a great cast.
No, absolutely. Now, what would your word of wisdom be for people who want to get into the acting business?
I would say the number one thing is believe in yourself. Like, in order to make it in this business, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have confidence to keep you going. It's very tough in this industry, but I'd say the first step is believing in yourself, and you're halfway there. And that's a quote, actually, and I can't remember exactly who said it, but I live by that quote all the time. You really have to have confidence in yourself. There's so many people, I think, that want to be in this industry, but they're like, oh, I think I'm too old, or I think I'm overweight, or I'm not pretty enough. And don't think about it that way. If you're motivated, you're passionate, you want to do this. You're willing to do the work, go for it. It doesn't matter. Looks are not everything in this industry. I see so many people, they're like, I don't think I'm pretty enough to be an actor. And I'm like, no. That does not matter, And I would say the second thing is, again, just putting in, it's a lot of work in this industry. I'm still learning the whole business side of acting, but definitely I think a lot of learning, a lot of dedication. You don't just go into it. There's so much to learn. There's so much that I'm constantly learning. But I would definitely say one of the most important things starting out is to believe in yourself and believe that you can do it. So.
No, absolutely. And I say that about my talk show, too. You don't mind me, I'm going to take this off. It gets heavy after a while. We can get to this in a little bit. But, that's what I say about the talk show. Labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be.
Exactly. That's so true.
Absolutely. And I'll give you a quick example where I was labeled being retarded because I read and learn at a 5th grade level. I can't read, but once I get a hang of something, and if you let me be myself, I will do it. And that's what some people love about me, because I get to be myself. I'm not like, the puppet master pulling the strings or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like when you try to tell me I have to be someone, then you put pressure on them, and then it messes up. But the question I want to ask you next is, have you ever worked with people with disabilities? Besides me, obviously. But have you ever worked with people with disabilities, and are you willing to work with people with disabilities?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing that I love about this industry is that I get to meet all kinds of unique people. And, I think people with disabilities, that just makes you unique, and I admire you as a person for overcoming, your disabilities and still following your dreams. You have this amazing talk show, I think that's amazing of you. And I love working with all kinds of people, I don't look at someone as like, oh, they're a person with disabilities. I'm just like, this is another hardworking person in the industry that I'm looking forward to working with, And I think I have worked with a few people that I think this one person had a stutter, and he was a little bit nervous about acting. So he thought that it would mess up his abilities to act, but he did a great job. And I really admire people in this industry that, because I think every single person has some kind of struggle or challenge that at one point made them think, is this going to affect my ability to be in the industry? But then they kind of oversaw that and didn't let that affect them, follow their dreams and do what they really want to do. And I admire that, you know. I have an aunt who has disabilities. She's in a wheelchair. She has cerebral palsy, but she's one of my favorite people in the entire world. And, you know, I just love meeting like all kinds of different people in this industry, because there really are like all kinds of personalities, all kinds of unique people. So I would absolutely love to work with people with disabilities. I think out of a lot of people I've met in my life, you know, people like my aunt are some of the most inspiring people I've ever met. So.
No, absolutely. Well, let me ask you this one. For people who want to follow in your footsteps, you know, and this is a two-parter. The first part is, would you recommend acting classes? Number one. And the second one is social media. But we'll stay on the first one first.
The first one? Okay.
So, would you recommend acting classes? And if so, what classes would you recommend?
Oh, I would absolutely recommend acting classes. You know, I didn't realize it before, but even Hollywood actors are constantly training. I think, you know, you can be like kind of a natural at acting, but there's just so much to learn, especially acting in front of the camera. Like acting in front of the camera, when I started taking classes, it's like a whole different thing. And there's like a certain way that you need to face the camera and look at the person that you're talking to. And there's just so many things that I think are so important to understand if you want to be a professional film and TV actor. You got to understand those kind of things. And then, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm still learning. Like when I first got into acting, I have hypersensitive hearing. So in other words, I have a weird kind of hearing where everything is a lot louder to me. So I talk sometimes really loud because I hear it in normal tone. So I kind of had to like work with that too. And I didn't even realize that I was talking loud in some auditions. And then I'm trying to work on that. But there's so many wonderful things you can learn. I just actually studied a little bit with an acting coach in New York named Tom Todoroff. And he was actually in Star Trek. He's a great acting coach because he gives some really great and powerful life advice about just like following your dreams and just like really believing in yourself. Like he gives so many great advice to anyone who wants to be in this industry, and just general life advice, really, like overcoming challenges and stuff. How like life is short, you got to make the best of it, but you don't want to wear yourself out. And he's pretty intense, but he's a really good acting coach, and it's the good intense that he really pushes you as an actor to really go out of your comfort shell, which is also very important. And if you want to be an actor, is going out of your comfort zone. But I think he's an amazing coach. I would highly recommend him. He is, I think, primarily based in New York City, but he does travel to. When I studied with him, he came down to Maryland, and that's where I went to see him. But I think he's an amazing guy. Would highly recommend him. Another person that I have studied with is Cheryl Felicia Rhodes, and she's an award-winning actress, multi-award-winning actress. She's amazing, and she teaches you how to speak properly in an audition and really like enunciate. And even right now, I'm using some of her techniques in order to like really enunciate for this interview. And so she teaches a lot of that stuff, and then she also teaches you kind of how to try out different characters when you're auditioning, as well as commercial stuff. And I think she's such a sweet person too. She's based in Northern Virginia, and I would also recommend her. So.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about social media and some of your upcoming projects.
Sounds great.
I'm Linda Collins.
Hi, I'm Marissa Joy Davis.
This is Michelle Wong.
And I'm Nancy Rose.
My name is Brandy Hunt. And
hello, my name is Raven Wynn.
Hi there. My name is Giovanna Vidal.
Hi, I'm Monica Thomas.
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spank.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becky Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 633. I'm here with the talented Samantha Weller, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me here.
No, the honor's all mine. Now, for people, I almost repeated the whole speech again. Everyone has heard the speech. They don't want to hear it again. But with the last 14 minutes, I do want to ask you some hard-hitting questions. Then we're going to do a Q&A at the very end.
Okay,
but the first thing I want to talk to you about is social media. Social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Stage 32, LinkedIn, any other sites I did not mention. Do those websites have an effect on your career, number one? And have you ever gotten any acting roles from those social medias?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think social media is a very important part of acting. And I actually think it's a very good time to be an actor because of social media. And, we all have this advantage to really showcase ourselves even more and put ourselves out there utilizing social media. I have actually gotten some roles on Facebook, like some smaller roles, because there are a lot of, I know it's weird like Facebook, but there's actually a lot of acting groups like where people post casting calls on there, and I'd say it's mostly local. They're usually more local, but I think Facebook is actually really important. You should have like your face in your profile picture, or like if you want to have like a personal Facebook and a business Facebook, I do that too. Facebook is very important actually for having a business page, which I have right now. I think it's Samantha. If you have it, Samantha Weller, go to page. It should come up, and that's just like my business page where I post primarily only acting related stuff. I have my manager and agent's information on there, my website, and I just kind of post about, updates on my acting career when I book stuff. So I think that's important. Instagram I've heard is increasingly getting more and more important for actors to have, just as a platform, because apparently people are checking like social media, and I think it's important again on Instagram to not only have a personal page but have a business page as well, or maybe merge those two together, because you want to look professional. You don't want to have a personal page where one post is like you book something and the next post is like your party from last night. So I think Instagram is very, very important for not only putting yourself out there, but also connecting with other people. I met so many wonderful people in this industry from just Instagram, and I just met someone the other day who is an actor in California. And he happens to know the director of this movie that I was just in. And I'm like, wow, that's a small world. Like, after meeting some people on social media, I actually realized the industry is kind of small. Like, sometimes I meet people, it's like, oh, I know this actor friend of yours. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And LinkedIn, I've heard a lot of people ask about LinkedIn and talk about that, but I don't think LinkedIn is necessary at all in any way, shape, or form if you're an actor, because I just feel like it was designed primarily for business people, salespeople. My LinkedIn right now, I don't even use it for acting because that's my that was when I was a writer, and I still am a little bit of a writer, but I don't know. I've never heard of anything on LinkedIn happening in the film industry at all. Stage 32, I do have that, and I have met a few people on it. I think I met this one screenwriter. She's in Atlanta. She's really cool, but it seems kind of like almost outdated. No offense to it. It's just it's kind of cool. It's a good way to network with people, and people are messaging each other on there. But I don't think it's like some other platforms such as Actors Access and Backstage. And I would say those are more of a not really social media, but that's just very important to have as an actor because it just kind of has all your work on it. You got to have that profile if you want to submit for casting calls on those websites, because I have heard that those are like the two best casting websites for actors. And then let me think. Twitter is also, I've seen a lot of actors and filmmakers and directors, all kinds of people in the industry on Twitter. I think that's important to have. YouTube, I definitely think is important to have a channel. And you post your acting reel, I post interviews on mine. You can post, monologues and stuff. I think YouTube is a very important tool for actors to establish and everything. I'm trying to think of more social media platforms, but I've primarily, in terms of social media, I've really only gotten some roles on Facebook, but it was just more so like someone knew, like I knew a person who knew a person, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, this director is looking for someone that fits your description. Do you want to audition for their project? Here's the link to apply. And it was more just something like that. It wasn't directly on Facebook, but I've never gotten a role out through Instagram or Twitter. But I have met some people, though, and sometimes that leads to someone wanting to cast you for something or auditioning for something. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. And I feel the same way. For me, I have to use the top four. LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm actually starting to use Instagram. And let's see, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, Facebook,
definitely.
Twitter, and Instagram. Those are the big four for me.
Oh, okay, cool. And actually, regarding LinkedIn, I actually have seen a lot of filmmakers, like if they have a production company or they have like a talk show like you do, I think that is important to have on LinkedIn so you can show that like it's an LLC, it's a legitimate business, it's on LinkedIn, people can look more on it. But I think if you're an actor, I don't think you need to have, a LinkedIn. I think it's for certain people in the industry like you, but for me, I don't know if having a LinkedIn will benefit me in any way.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. And it's funny.
I mean, I might. I've thought about maybe one day I need to delete my entire LinkedIn as a writer and like completely redo a LinkedIn for my acting career. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
It's funny you said backstage. I signed up to backstage and I was like, oh, I like this person, I like that person. Message. And it's been a couple of weeks now and I never heard back from them.
I think it took me, at least 2 weeks until I heard back and got something. My first role on there was actually this trade show. It was like a modeling thing. But I have gotten an increasingly higher amount of auditions, and I'm seeing more and more acting gigs. I think from what it seems is like sometimes there's like 2 weeks where there just isn't anything that fits you, and then like maybe 2 weeks later there are a lot of things that fits you. So I think it's almost like, if that makes sense, like a flow, and like sometimes there just isn't anything for you, but other times there's like a lot of things. So, but I think backstage, I would say it's pretty good. I've gotten quite a few auditions so far on it, met a lot of people. So yeah.
No, I hear you. And for me, I'm the same way I approached you. I'm like, oh, I found a new website now. So I was messaging people, same way for introducing myself and saying, hey, I'm doing this. But like I said, I haven't heard anything. But Actors Access I was curious about. Stage 32 I kind of lost interest in.
That's exactly what happened to me. I mean, I networked with some people, but like that was pretty much it. It was just like maybe 5-10 people. Just like, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Nice to connect. Nice to connect with you too. And that's it.
And how do you feel about YouTube? And how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
I haven't checked in a while, but I think I'm nearing 100 subscribers. So I think I just started it about 2-ish months ago. And I think YouTube is a really good thing for actors. I think actually actors and filmmakers to have, because you can put your reel on there. You can put monologues on there. For me, I put my interviews on there. And just kind of showing like what you're doing in the format of like videos, I think is, because you're an actor, and you can have like clips of like some of your work on YouTube. I think it's very important to have for acting. So yeah.
No, absolutely. Now it's the last 6 minutes left. I'm gonna pass the show over to you. Was there anything you wanted to know? Anything you want to talk about or promote? This is your time.
Okay. Well, I guess I can announce, since I just got cast today officially. I recently got cast as a supporting role in a movie called The Mantle, directed by Sean Brent Swingler. And if you go on my Facebook, you can see it. It's a really cool film. It's kind of like angels, demons, and then the real world. And it's like, I'd say it's like a drama. There's all kinds of different themes in it. It's a really cool movie. Filming next year. So I'm really excited about that.
No, absolutely. And what other new projects are in the works for you?
I have a TV series coming up that has not been sold yet, but they're trying to get it on a major network. And more details released later, but it's going to be filming in Richmond. It's kind of like a drama, comedy. I have that coming up. And I guess I can talk about, I just got back from California for the Psycho Pump Rap Party and Mini Red Carpet premiere. It was really fun. I did 2 interviews there, and we signed some autographs, and it was like the first mini red carpet for that movie, so I was really excited about that. And then they showed the trailer, which is out now on YouTube. So that was really, really fun. That was like the first time I ever, traveled for a red carpet thing, like out of state. I've been to another red carpet, but I just drove an hour away. But this was like, going all the way to the other side of the United States. So it was very, very, very fun. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about this, and then we can go on another subject. Out of all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, what is the very first one? Actually, what is the one that you go to the most, say, if it wasn't for this site, I wouldn't be getting all this traffic? And what is the one that you don't care about? or care
Oh
less?
man, it's kind of hard to say. I would say like that's a hard decision between Facebook and Instagram because Facebook, I have connected with a lot of people, and I feel like talking to people on Facebook, like Facebook Messenger, for whatever reason, more people use it than messaging each other on Instagram. I don't know why, but that's just how I feel about it. I'd say Facebook maybe, even though I think Facebook is, I've connected with a lot of people on there, but I think Facebook is kind of one of those social medias where I feel like I need to have it. But if I wouldn't mind ever deleting it because of how many, there's still all this political stuff on there, lots of people arguing all the time, lots of like, I just went to the grocery store statuses. But I say Facebook. I say Facebook and then Instagram. I like Instagram better though, just because there's less like drama on it. It's just people posting pictures. It's not like a political post and everyone gets into an argument like Facebook. So I guess I'd say Facebook. It's just that app that I don't really like it, but I feel like I need to have it, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to wrap up our show, and we're going to do our special Q&A on Instagram. So make sure we're going to do a post right after we're done. But the first thing I want to ask you is, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your honest reaction, and what made you say yes, and how do you feel now? But before we get to that, again, I had a brain fart. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on? Obviously, we talked about it, so
Yeah. So my Instagram, my business account on Instagram is Samantha Pearl _official. So it's spelled like Samantha PEARL _official.
No, absolutely. And don't worry, your Instagram will be on the bottom of the screen. They can get to follow you. But my last question, when I first approached you to be a guest on the show, what was your first reaction? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people? You can be completely honest.
Yeah, recommend about the show, you mean? Okay. Yeah, so when you first reached out to me about being on your talk show, I was like, oh my god, like I felt honored, and I'm like, I think I hadn't gotten as many roles as I have right now, so I'm like, wow, like this guy wants to talk to me. Like he must like recognize something that I did. It made me feel really good because I love doing stuff like this. And then I'm sorry if you heard my mom scream back there. She screams about everything. Probably saw a spider. So, and I was really excited to be a part of it because I love doing interviews and I love meeting other people. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And I had a really good time on this show. You're very good at giving direction. You're very good at hosting the show. I love talking about acting. And, it just really kind of helps me organize all my thoughts about acting because I'm doing that all the time now, and that's all I think about. So I love being able to do something like this where I'm able to express all my thoughts and also give people advice, which I love doing too. And, I'd say for anyone out there, if Keith reaches out to you, I would highly recommend doing this because this was a great experience for me.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up our interview segment, do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And for our viewers out there, make sure to like and subscribe to both of our channels and continue to support.
Thank you.